It's already spooky season, and you know what that means. We've got a lot of horror titles under our plate. Most recent is Netflix's The Midnight Club. For today's video, we'll be talking about The Midnight Club and how this teen horror is like a morbid The Breakfast Club, and how it breaks the record for the most jump scares in one episode. Find out all about this and more in today's video, so make sure you keep watching to find out. So without further ado, let's do a review of what we've seen so far from The Midnight Breakfast Club. While no one watches a horror show in the hopes of a lighthearted adventure, Netflix's most recent entry is gloomy even by the somber norms of the genre. In the setting of The Midnight Club, adolescent patients at the Brightcliffe Teenage Hospice are living out their final days after receiving a terminal prognosis. They also get together at night to tell horror stories to get in a bit of youthful foolishness before they die. This late-night storytelling allows the show to draw from Pike's entire bibliography, which creators Mike Flanagan and Leah Fong then stitched together. This late-night storytelling is inspired by the work of Christopher Pike, whose YA mysteries have served as a gateway drug for many budding horror fans. The idea is appealing, but it ends up producing an uneven patchwork since so much terror depends on the suspense of its protagonist making it to the end credits. His early works revived the slasher subgenre by terrorizing a deaf woman in Hush and building in Gerald's Game to a degloving climax that almost brought down the internet. And now we have his fourth Netflix series with The Midnight Club, with horror miniseries based on the works of Shirley Jackson, Henry James, and Stephen King, as well as the Edgar Allan Poe, inspired The Fall of the House of Usher. Flanagan was able to satisfy the streaming giants and establish his own subgenre. The Haunting of Bly Manor, James, was bogged down by uninteresting sentimentality, in contrast to Jackson's triumph in The Haunting of Hill House. Despite a few stumbles here and there, Flanagan's admiration for the literature that informs his writing makes this Pike tribute consistently engaging. Since Flanagan was unable to rely on his usual cast of actors to play the dying youths, he put together a new group of young actors with exceptional acting chops. Iman Benson is Alonka, who was on her way to an Ivy League college when she got her diagnosis. Even though she has decided to spend her final days at Brightcliffe, there is still a ray of hope, and she cannot resist accepting the assistance of Samantha Sloyan's menacing local naturalist, who appears to have traveled to Salem from Goop headquarters. Never has someone been so frightened while brandishing a blueberry. Though all is not as it seems with Igby Rigney's lovely boy next door, Kevin, William Chris Sumter's quick-witted Spence, or Anna Simone's innocent Sandra. The other occupants initially look like a morbid breakfast club with classic teen tropes. However, none of them can match Ruth Codd's captivating performance as rebel nihilist Anya in her movie debut as a TikTok star. To this, we could say Flanagan has wisely snapped her up for House of Usher. The young performers demonstrate their ability to deliver primal screams and heartbreaking speeches, but those pining for the regular Flanagan stars shouldn't give up hope. His favorites make wonderful cameos throughout. The fact that the narrative is a cluttered jumble in need of cleansing cannot be disguised by any amount of screen presence. We spend time in the fictional worlds that the characters invent as they tell stories at night in each episode, but none of them, perhaps Anya's nightmare about her twin sister, the two Danas, are as fascinating as what is happening at Brightcliffe. Initially, the series successfully strikes a balance between the two levels of fiction, but it eventually tips the scales to indulge in the overbearing allegories of the tales it tells. It's infuriating to see Sumter squashed in a stupid sci-fi notion after witnessing him deliver a poignant monologue to his estranged mother that deftly treads the line between dramatization and melancholy. Breaking the fourth wall to scoff, the characters mock each other's stories, saying anyone can bang pots and pans behind someone's head. That's not scary. That's just startling, and it's lazy as The Midnight Club isn't lazy, but merely acknowledging dependence on tried and true cliches isn't the same as defying them. Pike's works are renowned for their audacious endings, but The Midnight Club's finale stands out as the book's worst installment because it hurriedly introduces new strands to establish further episodes whose premise doesn't warrant them. Given that death was inevitable from the beginning, it is unfortunate that The Midnight Club refuses to acknowledge the importance of a respectful exit. So now, let's talk about how The Midnight Club breaks the record for the most jump scares in one episode. According to a Guinness World Records press release, the horror mystery thriller The Midnight Club, which aired on October 7th, broke the record for the most jump scares in a single film. A jump scare is a common horror movie trope in which a quiet period is abruptly broken up by a loud noise or quick cut meant to startle or frighten the audience. Think of the iconic scene from the 1980 film Friday the 13th, where Jason Voorhees leaps out of the ocean. According to a news release, The Midnight Club's debut episode set a new record for the most planned jump scares in a single television episode. There are a terrifying 21 jump scares in this episode. According to the press release, the show's creator, Mike Flanagan, jokingly said he wanted to break the record in retaliation to producers who insisted on forcing him to include more jump scares. In other related news, as much as The Midnight Club is drawing interest by the day, fans and viewers of the show may have to do more if they want to see a second season on the show. The Midnight Club fans may need to exert some pressure on Netflix to approve season 2 of the show, as current patterns suggest it may not be performing well enough to warrant a second season. Before, everything you watched from Flanagan was a standalone horror film with a predetermined conclusion for its cast. The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, and Midnight Mass all fit this description. But The Midnight Club, which centers on a group of terminally ill teenagers sharing ghost stories, was clearly intended to lead into a second season because there were so many cliffhangers and additional source material to adapt. The issue is that, based on appearances, the show doesn't seem to be doing all that well. Netflix published statistics from its first week, October 3rd through 9th. That includes the entire 3-day weekend premiere from Friday, July 7th through Sunday, July 9th inclusively. And although it briefly held the number 2 spot on the daily ratings, that only led to 18.7 million audience hours, placing it in 4th for the week and at 10% of the number 1 show, Dahmer. It demonstrates how big of a gap there can be between number 1 and 2. Currently, Dahmer has been deposed from the top spot, although not by The Midnight Club. Instead, The Watcher, another Ryan Murphy production, has taken the place of Dahmer and The Midnight Club. Furthermore, it now appears highly unlikely that The Midnight Club will ever reach the top spot. Being number 1 obviously isn't necessary to be renewed, but it helps. However, the destiny of season 2 is still in doubt for even other shows that briefly held the number 1 spot, like The Sandman, and Midnight Club is doing really well with the series. There are a few circumstances, though, where The Midnight Club may be able to get away with it in this case. First and foremost, the budget. This project is not as heavily CG dependent as Sandman, nor does it feature as many A-list actors as The Watcher. In comparison to Netflix's other offerings, the majority of the actors are teenagers, and the whole production does not appear to have cost that much. Second of all, there's Mike Flanagan, and he's produced excellent horror content for them in the past, and intends to do so in the future. Netflix and this producer, director, writer, and creator have a long and fruitful working relationship. It's commonly known that The Midnight Club is his biggest love project, so even if it doesn't go well, they might agree to a second season to close things off to make him happy. Regarding Flanagan, he has already addressed this briefly and provides a fallback option for cancellation, albeit a less than ideal one. This was designed to be ongoing. We probably won't know for another month or so what Netflix wants to do, but this was very much designed to continue. Pike has many books, and so we have a lot of incredible material to pull from. Flanagan continued by saying that although there are solutions to some of the season's biggest mysteries, they were intended to be revealed in the upcoming season. He promised to respond to the queries in a unique manner and put them on Twitter if season 2 is not produced. We may not have any answers at the moment, but it may take even longer, as we still do not know whether The Sandman will be renewed or canceled after its early August premiere. With that, we're ending today's video about The Midnight Club. Have you seen the series yet? Let us know what you think about it in the comment section below. Before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. We'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.